Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had an amazing trading day yesterday. It is Wednesday, hump day, as they say. I don't know who they are, but they say it. And we are rounding out the week. It's a short week just due to the Monday holiday. We have a really interesting lesson today in taking small losses and letting profits run that I will talk about later today. But if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe button down below so that you get the updates as they become available. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell. It gets you a little ding when you get an email when we do something fun and cool. And then also, if you are new to the channel, we look at the same 10 to 12 futures markets every day, identifying potential turning points and breakout trades from an educational perspective. Share it with your friends. Let's dive right in. S&P. So yesterday I talked about how I don't really want to short the all-time high or this close to the all-time high. And yesterday was a good reason as to not do that because we definitely had a nice strong drop. And, you know, 20 points is certainly a big day, right? From 29.10 to 28.90. I mean, that's a 20-point day in the S&P. That's a huge range. I'm just not willing to take it. My rules don't let me take that. Now, however, I have 2 consecutive lower swing highs as well as 2 consecutive lower swing lows. So now I could theoretically take a short off of this area right here. So this now becomes a potential short area. However, I do have a long right there at 28.84 by 28.81. We've not come down into it yet, been unable to trade into that zone, but I don't like the way that we're basing in front of it. So I'm going to change my line from a solid line to a dashed line. Now remember that the dashed line is a confirmation style entry. For more details on how I use the different lines, go to TradersArmy.com. Underneath the free videos section, there's a tutorial on how to use the dashed lines. All right, so there's the ES that I would look for. I don't like any of the shorts as of yet on the ES. If I go to the 15-minute chart, I may be able to spot a little level here that could work out. My problem with that is when it's formed, right? Midnight is not an ideal time of day. The 2 a.m. Time of day is going to be better, but since the European markets opened, we've actually traded a little bit higher. So I don't love this area in here. I do like this area here a bit better, which is what we had early morning yesterday. I like it better because it was an old area of support. The thing I don't like is that by the time we get to there, we will have put in a new swing high, and then by definition, we'll be in a sideways trend. So it becomes a much more risky trade environment. NQ. So this blue line here was not a breakdown. For those of you that remember, this blue line was a breakout to the upside that we took a couple of weeks ago, last week. And so this was not a breakdown trade. Matter of fact, the NQ, I still have a breakout upside trade above 7,700. Not really going to change that at all either. I am going to add this area down here just in case we get a really big pullback to this 7,500 region. This is, formed right around market open. And it was right at our prior breakout. So I'm going to leave this area in here, whole round number support. It's pretty far away, but for now, I still like the breakout long above here. As far as a short goes, I'm just not doing it. Theoretically, I could take a short below 75.83, right, if I wanted to take a short below this area. And we did get a decent reversal off of this area. I didn't have it highlighted because my reversal trade was set up to be the NQ or the ES, not the NQ, and we didn't quite get there in the ES. Crude oil. So let's talk about crude. Yesterday I talked about this little level up here, which we found on the hourly chart. And I said, if you are so inclined, you can take a short on crude off this level. And since I think we were in it while I was doing the recording, I said, if you're not comfortable quite getting into it yet, you can wait for price to get halfway in and take the confirmation entry as it comes back down. Now, price then hit what would be our first target, and it's continued to run. So if you manage your trade and only took some off the table, then you're still doing the happy dance, laughing joyously into the night, and allowing profits to continue to run. So leave me a comment in the section below if you did indeed grab that trade. Now, as far as what we have going for the rest of the day today, what are some trades that I can look at? Well, I still have this long way the heck down here. I've got a couple of areas down here where we could see price stall out, if you will. This was an old resistance, which became new support, right? This old resistance, new support, bounced off of it a few times before then popping higher. So, we've got room to keep going down, and I think that we may get a little reversal off of this area right here, right? This big red candle down. We could be in store for a reversal right now, so let's see kind of what happens to that one. Gold, let's talk about gold. So yesterday I said, gold is definitely moving down a little bit, and if you're so inclined, you can get short on that 15-minute little level. And so we found this little level right here on the 15-minute chart, and lo and behold, the market came up and said, here we go. Now, you theoretically could have taken a small profit on this down into here, but then it immediately gave us the stop out. And this is my lesson, right? 1199.5 to 1200, call it 1200.5, call it 1 point loss. Is it worth a 1 point loss in gold to try for what could have been a huge return? Absolutely it is. No question about it. You'll take that every day of the week, especially when you've got a runner that goes like this. That's what trading is. You should be able to be a 50% trader, meaning you're right 50%, you're wrong 50%, and still do very well. And it all comes back to risk management. It's all about how do I handle the risk when I get nicked. One of my mentors, a guy I love named Mickey, he lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and he says if you don't manage risk, you'll have no risk to manage. And I've listened to Mickey's words in my head probably 1,000 times. If you don't manage risk, you'll have no risk to manage, meaning you'll blow out your account. And so what we're doing here is just taking a look at managing the risk on the gold trade and then allowing profits to run on the crude oil trade. So keep those things in mind. All right, let's look at our bond market and then moving into our currency markets. So in our bond market, we have this area still down here, which price has just been unable to penetrate. I'm not in love with it. Every time price comes close to it and we don't get in, I'm in love with it a little bit less and less. So I've got still my alert in place there. So really nothing to change. On the Aussie, we are continuing our march downward in the Aussie. And so when I'm looking at this, there's so many potential reversals that we just have not been able to get back to any of those potential reversals. So I could go down all the way to a 15-minute chart and look at this area up here, although it looks like we could be rolling over from this point. So what you very well could do is even this little 15-minute level, if you wanted to, you could get short below this little 15-minute breakout level and allow price to run. That's a very small level because our risk would be the pivot just above it. The euro. So those of you that took the euro trade, how did that work out for you? We caught a little reversal on the euro long and then immediately caught the euro short back to profit target. So this is trading the euro both directions, both long and short. So it's catching the euro long as it came down to our reversal level. Now, this reversal level, the reason we had a dashed line here is because we've already hit it once, so it lowered the probability. So price came down halfway in, activated the trade, moved back up, hit our target, and then hit our short entry, and then moved back down and hit our opposing profit area again. So that's one that you've got to kind of play the whipsaw on both, but both the long and the short turned out to be pretty good setups. In the Canadian dollar, so the Canadian dollar, we had a reversal trade. We didn't get filled. The Canadian dollar price continued its move down. We have a couple of potential reversals a bit below us. Hasn't quite gotten there just yet. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. So in the British Pound, we are coming out of our confirmation level right now. So some of you may be in this position for this Great British Pound trade. If you're in this position, I would move my stop to break even. Move your stop up to break even, simply because you see all these wicks up here. These wicks tell me that there was a lot of basing just before coming into the level. So you've got a little 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio already, maybe even a little bit greater than a 1-to-1. Take your stop, lock in some gains, move your stop up at least to break even. Japanese yen, we still didn't come anywhere near our levels. Neither did we in copper or nat gas, so nothing really to add on any of those. So overall, should have been a good trading day for you if you were managing your risk effectively, right? The gold trade was a small loss, but crude oil is still running, and euro hit entry 2 different directions, and we're still waiting on our major equity markets. So for those of you that are interested, go to tradersarmy.com to learn more about our live trading rooms. We have them every Thursday morning and Sunday evening, where we set up some of our trades. We go over the things inside of the daily market commentary, and then we expand on them into individual options positions. So until tomorrow, everybody, hope you have an amazing trading day, and I will see you soon. Later.